Hello and welcome to today's YouTube tutorial from Peakboard. Today I want to show you how easy it is to create a SAP dashboard for your logistics. How this works, I'll show you now. I'm now here on the Peakboard Designer where I will start by adding the first data source. So I click here on Add Data Source and here I select SAP. First I give it a name, let's call it Deliveries. And I select my SAP connection. I've already added before, but otherwise you could just enter your usual SAP credentials you also know from the SAP UI. Now I have different options to get data out of my SAP system, like getting it from a table, from a report or a query, or in my case I just want to call a function module. So I select this template called a simple function module. First I need to replace the name of the function module here, like this one. You can also try this out in your SAP system with the transaction SA38. And also I want to add here export parameter. In my case this is called like this, and I pass a parameter for one delivery station, and also I need to set the name of the response table from this function module. Let's click on load data, and here I already got my data. Now I click here on OK, and I've added my data source here on the left. Now the first thing I want to do is process this data with a data flow. I want to create an aggregation. For that I click here on the aggregate button, and I want to get the count of all my deliveries. So let's call it count, and here I got the number 11, which are all deliveries for this delivery station. Let's call it all. Now I add another data source from the type time, which I will need now for other calculations with this data source. So let's call this date here, and we can also give it a date format. Doesn't matter that much here. Let's click on OK. And now I'm able to add a new data flow based on the same data source again. And in that case, I want to have the information if it's an urgent delivery. We get the information out of the date, so if the date is earlier than today, so yesterday or earlier, then it's an urgent delivery because we are already over the time. So for this I create a new column by clicking on Add Column. And here I first give it a name, let's call it urgent, and the data type, in that case it's a boolean, so it's true or false. And here I now start in the category date, and I go to parse date, and the first date I want to parse is from my SAP table, so I get it from this column ER dot, and I pass it here, and then I create another date by adding another parse date, and in that case I remove that part and I get the date out of my created time data source. So I get here this get date as text. I could also directly get the date here, but in that case I would also get the time, and I just want to have the date without the time. So I do it like this by just using the same format here. So we throw the time away and just keep the date. Alright, and now I need to use this calculate date difference, and from this date I want to subtract the current date, and also I need to have some check, and I say if this one is smaller than 0, so in that case we are earlier than today, then it's an urgent delivery. Let's click on OK, and we can see here true for all the dates earlier than today. So let's click here on OK and create one last data flow by going to the existing urgent data flow and adding a new one on this. And again, here I want to have an aggregation, and it's of type count again. So let's call it count again. And here you can just, oh sorry, I forgot something. Here first I want to have a filter, and I just want the urgent one, so I click here on include only rows with this value, and now I create the aggregation, the count, click on OK, and now I have the number of the urgent deliveries. So let's call it urgent count. Now we have all we need, and we can just create the UI for it. So first I place a rectangle here on the top right, increase its size, remove the corner radius, and add a text. So let's call this here delivery overview of font type header 1. So the next thing is that I drag and drop this urgent data source, and I create a styled list. The styled list offers me the possibility to create a template for every single row I have. So first I increase here the size and place it on the correct position, and also I want to make it scrollable. Then let's jump back into the template, decrease the height a bit, and make the background transparent, add the rectangle to the full size, and add one first text here and connect it to this date we have here. And now we can also format the date and make a useful date format out of it. Let's add another one for the name of the customer. So here I connect this one to name 1 and also set it to the center. And the last thing I need to do here is to connect this text here to the destination. So this is the city we want to deliver this delivery. Alright, let's click here on OK, and things are basically done. Let's go once back into the template, and what I want to do here is I want to set this rectangle to and give it a red border if it is urgent. So in that case I go here to urgent, and if this one is true, so it's an urgent delivery, then I want to set the border color to red and also the border size to 4 so that it is visible. Let's click on OK, and now we are done here with the template. Also let's add some headers here in top of the columns and format it here to header 3. Let's call it first one date, the second one customer, and the third one destination. Alright, that's nearly all we need to do. The last thing I want to do here is to add some rectangles on the right hand where you can directly see the amount of open deliveries, so the urgent ones and the overall. So the first one I just call urgent, set the position and the font header too. And also another text I get out of this urgent count. So I can just drag that here, place it to the right position again, and center it. For this I will create another font which is bigger. So let's do it to 120 and call it large. So now let's just copy this one, place it here, and change the values. So here we need to connect it to deliveries, to all, sorry. This is the correct number now, and also the urgent we call here overall, and that's all we need to do. So let's click on the preview button. And now you can see the full logic. So we got the data out of the SAP system with the conditional formatting. We show the urgent deliveries and also the numbers here on the right. So that's it for today. Thanks for watching and see you next time.